For too many years, families of children with devastating illnesses have felt helpless as they watch their child suffer. Today, they're taking matters into their own hands and finally finding relief treating their child with cannabis. This is one family's story.
Welcome to another episode of Love and Cannabis. I am Nina Simmons.
And I am Osiris Stephenand.
And we are the proud parents of Aiden Stephen.
Hey guys, how's it going? Here's another episode.
Yes, hi.
You got to excuse us. I know it's been a while. Been a little bit under the weather. Aiden as well, so we're just fighting through.
Yeah, somehow I didn't get their cold. Aiden got sick. Runny nose, sniffles. And
The usual stuff as kids.
Sneezing in our face.
Oh yeah, you gotta love when kids do that.
So somehow I didn't get it, knock on wood, but Osiris got a bit of it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was a bit. I got all of it.
Yeah,
But I hope everyone's doing great out there. We just wanted to get into our, I guess, with our, what we've been going through with our stories with Aiden. And there's something that we've been dealing with recently, which is what they call a seizure breakthrough.
Seizure. So we just want to give you an update on how Aiden is doing, good or bad. So that's what we will be doing periodically during our podcast. So this is the latest update. The week of President's Week, Aiden started having grand mal seizures while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
And it was they were short, but they were maybe several, 2 to 3, which is not normal for Aiden.
At all, yeah. To having, grand mals in his sleep. We haven't seen that in quite some time.
Yeah. So he started having those seizures, and we were thinking, is he sick or what's going on?
Well, what we did find out is that he was, as kids, when they reach a certain age, they start to teeth. So his molars were coming out, and then he had a front tooth that was coming out. So it was throwing his whole body off. And it was strange that we didn't pick up on it because originally we saw him drooling a little bit. Like, why is he drooling?
He was holding in his...
Yeah, it's like he was just drooling out of nowhere. And so we thought he was having maybe micro seizures and it's just like a blank stare, but it was actually he was just teething. And that kind of set his whole body off. And that's when we started seeing the seizures were exacerbating.
Yeah.
Especially, what was the other thing that he had? And before that, he had a cold.
You get the flu.
He had the flu. Before that, he fought the flu. Only to start teething, and then the seizure started. So his body was going through some changes, like back to back. This kid's been fighting, and he's been a trooper ever since. And he still continues to do so. What you can say about a 7-year-old who just doesn't want to quit?
Yeah. So when you do use CBD for seizures, you have to expect to have these ups and downs and these waves.
Yeah.
And they're really difficult, but you just have to ride them.
Yeah.
And for me in particular, when he has those bad, bouts of when the seizures kind of get worse, even though we've been through it and we always get through it and he always goes back, it's scary. No matter what, I always have this fear that, is he not going to get better? Is he not going to get back to baseline? Is this it? Is the oil not working anymore?
You start to question yourself and second guess what you're doing, and that kind of concerns me because then you're more apt to say, well, maybe we should use what the doctor prescribed, the Depakote. Maybe we should increase the Depakote. Maybe we shouldn't use the on feed, as opposed to say, no, let's hold fast, stay with the CBD oil, let's increase the CBD oil or lower it.
Yeah. So let's just tell you guys what we did. So first we were saying, maybe it's the CBD, maybe it's too much. So then we took away the CBD oil. Oh no, we learned the hard way.
Yeah.
This stuff does work.
Yeah,
a lot of times you're like, is this working? Is this placebo? So we took the oil away, and the seizures were worse.
Yeah.
And harder, and they were longer. So we're like, okay.
So back to the CBD oil. We won't leave that.
So we started. So then what we did was we increased the CBD oil, and we changed the CBD oil.
Well, we stayed with the CBD oil, but we just changed the brand.
The brand, yes.
We changed a different brand. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so we changed it. Let's just change it up. Maybe his body got used to the
one brand.
But
then there's the other thing too, that some brands are not as consistent as you may think they are.
Exactly.
You may get a different strain.
Exactly.
So people don't know that.
We were using one for a while, and we had a pretty good run.
Yeah, we had a great run with it.
Great, and then all of a sudden, we were seeing
Changes. We started seeing a little bit more seizures than usual. They're like, whoa.
And we called the company, so they had their change made in the batch.
Yeah, so they did some adjustments to the formulations, which kind of threw Aiden off. So it's like, and I'm gonna be honest. So looking at the industry, what's gonna happen? We're going to be looking at customization.
Yeah.
You know, we can't do the one size fits all like pharmaceutical industry. Mm-hmm. For the medicinal side of cannabis and dealing with oils, it's going to be customization.
Because every kid is different.
Yes, every kid.
And if you were looking for the medicine, every kid has certain symptoms for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, just because you have seizure, like Timmy has seizure, is not the same reason why Johnny will have seizure.
Yeah, exactly.
So one strand or one type of CBD may work for Johnny and not work for Timmy.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's something you have to look out for. So we did change the CBD oil. We went back to an oil that we used before that he had success on. So we went back to that, and then we increased the oil.
And did we mix it too as well with another oil?
And we did a mix.
We did mix, yeah, because
and that's what we were doing before. Is like we were mixing the oils. One that may have THC,
a little bit more THC than the other that we're using.
And then combining it with one that didn't have any THC.
You know what was fascinating though? I think the other night you were telling me, if he happens to have a seizure in the middle of the night while he's sleeping, rub some CBD on his feet. And you said one thing too. Also put it on the big toe.
Yeah.
Make sure you touch the big toe. He started having a grand mal. I immediately jumped up. Put some CBD oil on my hand, rubbed it on his foot, make sure I got the big toe. I swear to you, within 10 seconds of me doing that, the seizure stopped. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is amazing. And it was like one of those grand mals that I've seen before that, you know, that would last maybe a minute to 2 minutes. This thing didn't even last no more than 30 seconds, if that. It was amazing the way, it happened so quickly. I was like, okay,
I think
you might be onto something.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from, but I'm on a lot of Facebook support groups where parents
share their problems,
share their ideas, their problems, and I think it comes from Chinese medicine that you rub.
Well, almost like reflexology.
Yeah,
You rub the massage at certain points on the foot,
and it works. It works.
Yeah.
And so what we did last night is that you rubbed his feet
way early in advance
to prevent it.
Yeah, because what we've noticed in a pattern is that he tends to have a grand mal about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, so basically something happens. It's very common for kids with epilepsy to have seizures between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Yep.
And we're trying to figure out why, but I think something with the sleep pattern
or cortisol
levels.
Yeah.
So those who don't know what a grand mal is that's like the typical seizure that people think of, like
the full body
convulsions, the scary stuff.
Yeah.
So he'll have those between 3 a.m., which I call like the witching hours.
Yeah, and then we become light sleepers because now we're anticipating that this is gonna happen. Yeah, so we're really not sleeping.
Up our sleep because I'm always around that time.
You're alert.
I feel like I'm alert.
Yeah.
And then when I look at my watch, and I'm like, okay, it's past 6. Okay.
I didn't hear anything.
We're in the clear.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything, so we're good. We can go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But with the other night that we were able to do that, just getting early. So I think I rubbed his feet before I went to bed. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I rubbed it on his feet beforehand, because just in case I might have overslept at 3 a.m. and might have missed it, I said, let me do this early. And by 6 a.m., no grand mal, no seizures whatsoever, just on the fact that I rubbed it on the bottom of his feet. It was it's interesting when you do this daily. You start to learn different things about the human body, and it's just amazing. Especially when you're trying to help heal your child, you study more so for them than you would do for your own self. So this has been an eye opener. But I think the hardest part is the emotional attachment that comes with it. Is you feel helpless when your child is going through something, and it becomes it's overwhelming at times where you sit alone, you're trying to figure out How can I help my child any further? You're looking down the road, like, what's going to become of my child? What is going to become of my family? And all these things start to, really get to you. And it starts to really come out, and you start to project it at times too. Just like our conversation, sometimes we're at each other's throats for no reason. It just comes out of nowhere. And how we handle it, because I know I handle things differently than you do. Yeah, I'm not the type of person to show my emotions outwardly. I'll keep it to myself, and I just stay focused on what's going on and dealing with that. I'll put my feelings aside and deal with it later. So that's one thing. I'm not the one to carry my emotions on my sleeve or to show or speak about my emotions or what I'm feeling. Not to say I'm, a mean guy.
For me, is that I show it, I cry, I let it out. For the most part, you'll see on my face, like if Aiden had a bad night, my colleagues would say, "Are you okay?" Or, so I definitely show my emotions most of the time, even though I try to hide it, but it does.
It's on your face sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard. It makes it hard on me to look at you. I'm like, what more can we do to put a smile on my face or to ease your pain? So it's like, for me, I take it as his ownership. Like, that's my fault, or it's like, Aiden's fault, and it's not a fault thing because it's just something that happened, but it's a sad situation. As much as we're trying to do what we do to help, it doesn't feel great when we look at each other. It's just like we just like had our whole world crumble in front of us, and we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I don't mean to, be the Debbie Downer or have these sad moments, and but I'm working on that. Like, it's very hard for me. Like, a lot of times I do feel like just crawling in a hole. Like, I do get down because it's just, as a mom and your child, and it's not easy. It really isn't easy.
It's not. It isn't. But you got to also look at it from the husband's perspective. Is like, this is my family. These are things I'm supposed to have in place, and it's like I can't protect my family. And hearing things that come out, you think that, okay, am I being to blame? Is Aiden being to blame, for all the unhappiness or for all the things that are happening? Because it's not the life that you had built for yourself in your mind. Especially, because I understand too, because I never thought in a million years I'd be in this situation. You could never put me and say, this is what your life is going to be like in the next 10 years. You're going to find this person. This is what's going to happen. And this is what's going to... You just... That's not what you... Because you're thinking something totally different. Yeah. You think the life... I'm going to live in this nice home. The wife, the kids, everything's going to be perfect. The kids are going to grow up, go to college, and there's going to be no issues whatsoever.
Yeah, which is false.
Yeah,
And I think that when you're growing up, you get this false ideation of what life is supposed to be.
Yeah, because it's all over TV.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Life is not perfect for anyone.
And
I have to...
No matter how much money you have or don't have.
Exactly. I have to be grounded that stuff's going to happen to you in life. It's not going to be smooth sailing. It's just not. And I have to keep reminding myself of that.
Yeah.
And I think that will help me.
Yeah.
Because, there are people that have kids. Like, now Aiden's talking a lot more. There are some kids that they'll never talk.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And like I said before in the previous part, that I'm like, I feel guilty because I see other parents who are saying, I'm just happy to see my child smile or eat something that's healthy for them as opposed to eating, the same junk food over and over again, or to be able to walk or talk. And it's like, wow, Aiden is doing all those things and then some. He's like able to go to school. He's able, to go on vacations, trips, be on a plane. He's living his life as a child despite the other things that are going on with him. The seizures, the drops. There was one time, I think it was last year, the seizure was so bad, he was coming home from school with bruises from the falls, coming home with black eyes, bloody lips. And it was just like you couldn't leave this kid alone for a minute. It's like you were high alert. I think that year, we barely slept.
Yeah, and I think what you have to remember, Osiris, is that both of us, regardless of how much we try to normalize, we are definitely suffering from like post-traumatic stuff. Because the stuff we've seen with and been through.
Yeah, it's traumatizing. It is traumatizing.
We have to be kind to ourselves in that way and kind of be understanding.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some people could not imagine.
Well, you know what's funny? When you're around family and friends, and he has a seizure. I mean, I was in a laundromat with a friend of mine, and she was with her son, and Aiden had a seizure, and he fell, and I picked him up. Her reaction was to take her son away, and hide him, and like cover his eyes. I said, "Oh, let's go over here." I said, "What's wrong? I don't want him to be traumatized by it."
Oh, she said that?
Yeah, I was like, at first I got offended, but then I understand it because they're not living in it, so their only reaction is like, I don't want to traumatize my child, but yet my child's the one that just experienced a seizure.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard for other people to understand unless they're in your shoes or going through something similar. Mm-hmm. You know, just like going out to dinners or going to family events. You know, it's hard. It is really hard. It actually caused us to be isolated sometimes too, as well. Yeah. And just talking to each other, it was the challenge. Just being able to communicate on the same page, because I could be thinking green, you're thinking purple, and it's just because of where our mind is at that time dealing with what's going on, and it's been a challenge. You know, we've had our ups and we have our downs, but what keeps us leveled is knowing this kid gets up every morning and he has a smile on his face, no matter what. There are times where he'll have a seizure, and after it's over, he'll smile, he'll cry a little bit, then he'll smile, say, "Hey, Daddy, let's go." And it's like nothing happened. I'm like, okay, let's go. You know, he'll ride his bike around the house or the scooter, or he'll run up and down the stairs, or he'll run through the hall. So he keeps us going.
Yeah.
And for you and I in our communication, that's something that we need to really work on. I think that's become, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just been like, woo. To be honest, it's been really hard. There are times I just don't want to talk. There's things that I just want to tune you out. To be honest, I just want to tune you out because I see how you act out emotionally because you're trying to deal with your way, but it's not the way I deal with it. So I have to understand it. And I have to understand the fact that we're two different people. We handle things two different ways. I look at it this way, is that we've been dealing with this for about 6 years now. 5.5 years or so. In my mind, thinking, you've seen the worst already. You can handle this. But that's from a male perspective that I'm projecting onto you as a woman. I don't know what the thought process is for a woman to be able to handle something emotionally, especially when it comes to their child. I don't put myself in that situation. I just say, you know what? Handle it the way I handle it. Just cut off all emotions. We know what's going on. We know how to deal with it. We know he's going to get better. Just hold on to that and just work at it, and that's it. Cut off all the crying and all that. Just stay focused on what's going on. Because for me, I think crying is almost like a waste of an emotion, especially when it causes you to freeze or it causes you to not take action or not move into doing something. So that's something I grew up with only because of things that I've seen in throughout my life. That's the only reason why I think that way. And that's why I handle things the way I do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's what I know.
I mean, I get that's a lot of how men, go about things, which is fine. It's just for women, it comes, sometimes you can't even control it. And just because someone cries, it doesn't mean they're not going to have action. Like the crying is not going to be stopping you from action. It's like a 5-minute thing. Yeah. So it doesn't stop you from moving forward. Like, I could complain about something, but I also have to do a lot of action. Uh-huh. So it's just a time where it's better sometimes to cry. At least you're acknowledging it than actually suppressing it. Because regardless if someone says they're not, they're just moving forward, they're really not. Mm-hmm. You're really just suppressing it.
Really? Is that what you're saying about me?
I think so.
Really? So you became a shrink?
I think you're suppressing it because you have your own ways of going outside and dealing with your stress. Yeah. I will cry. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Understandable.
So you say I do the avoidance.
You each have a different way of dealing with it. I may cry, but you have your other ways.
Yeah, I do. I do suppress my emotions because I just don't feel like the crying, the getting upset is going to change anything. for me is I got to think through it and believe that everything's going to be all right because I've been told that. So I'm taking people's word. They say he's going to be right. He's going to be fine. But at the same time, I can't sit and ride on that. So I have to take my actions, making sure he's eating well, making sure he's getting enough water, making sure that he's getting enough rest. I have to make sure I didn't get any exercises, doing all those things. And thinking constantly and always doing research to make sure that I have a better environment. This kid eats healthier than the both of us combined. He gets more rest than the both of us combined. And I think it's paying off. It is literally paying off, I think. Just the fact that now we're fortunate enough to get him a speech therapist, a better one, that's working with him. And we're starting to see some real progress with him. But he is a Capricorn, so he's a little stubborn. That's another story. Yeah, that's another chapter in our life we're dealing with. How to raise a child with a condition and under a stubborn sign. It's a child. Yeah, it's not
easy.
Oh my God, it's not easy. But you gotta love the kid though. But I understand where you're coming from, and I have to apologize to you because I know I've been cold, I've been distant, I've been elsewhere because I just feel like, I think that certain things can be handled a certain way, and my way is not necessarily right. It's just how I've learned to cope with things. Because I recall that one day that I did cry was when Aiden had his first major seizure with me. And I recall he was about 2.5 years old, and he was running through the hall. And all I heard was thump, and he went into a seizure. And I'm holding him and not knowing what to do. And I froze. I cried. Because I'm trying to get him to breathe. I'm trying to Aiden, I'm crying, cheering. I just didn't know what to do. I just held him. And part of me is like, is he going to stop breathing? And that hurt more than anything I've ever experienced in my life. To feel so helpless. And it's like, what do? I got this little guy's life in my hands. I'm frozen. I literally froze and just cried. And I said, I'll never let that happen again. That's why I ended up calling the ambulance, because I just didn't know what to do. I just did. I swore in my life I would never, ever let that happen again. So.
There's a reason for everybody's reaction to things. When you get to know people and you wonder why they're acting a certain way, there's always a reason. That's what they're saying. Always be kind, because you just don't know what they've been through.
Yeah.
So
everybody has a journey.
Everybody has a story and a journey, and you're like, oh, that person's rude. Oh, that person's cold. I was like,
maybe they got burnt.
Know.
Yeah, they might have been burnt by people.
Know.
People might have been burnt.
Don't know.
One of the interesting things that that we had mentioned way back about marriages, especially when it comes to a child there's a disability in the home. Basically, one of the researchers we came across was that out of the 50% of marriages that end up divorced, 90% had to do with a disabled child in the household. And already that's hard to think about that. And then also to put into the factor that we are parents of color. There's already stereotypes about that, where I don't know how they still hold on to this idea that, I shouldn't be in the home, or I should have multiple children elsewhere, things like that, or I shouldn't be a professional. So those stigmas are still around. Yeah. For that reason. And when you talk to people and you tell them your situation, and then you tell them that, hey, no, don't fall into that stereotype. It's like, oh, okay, all right. So I guess I got to deal with you or talk to you in a different way. And that's how people see you. And you're like, okay, once they get to hear your story, it's like, now their eyes open up, their ears perk. Now they want to really address you in a different manner. But in a relationship, we address each other as if, at times, it's me here, you're over there. We deal with it individually. Yeah. It's not a collectively.
Yeah, which we should start.
We should have started a long time ago. I think because in our minds, we want to do things our way. We're both right.
Yes.
Because we're very competitive.
Yes.
We've always have been. That's always been our thing.
Yes. So that being said, so it's like when you're, say for example, we're going through our downs and ups and downs. There's like, I saw this thing on Facebook, or it was a post.
It was a post?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've heard about this before. It's like called love language.
Yeah.
And
it's not that kind of love language, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So say when I'm
you have an example, I'm assuming.
Yeah, say if I'm crying that at that moment, there's certain things that I probably will expect from you to show love. And
Really?
vice versa.
You're not gonna get it.
Okay.
I get it. I'm saying what? Okay.
So
you're crying. Okay. So let's set the scenario. So you're crying. What would you expect me to do?
Okay. So let me just go backtrack. So then there's 5 different love languages. So
Okay.
and then after I explain, then I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
So there's words of affirmation. I guess this would be, I love you. I love spending time with you. You're the greatest.
Really? Hold it. You told me that was ego stroking.
Okay, let me finish, please.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ. Then there's physical touch, which is love, hugs, kisses, holding hands.
Yeah, but when I do it, you think I want something?
Would you please stop interrupting?
Okay, I'm
Thank
sorry. I'm
you.
just saying.
Gifts.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Acts of service.
I do that. That I do.
And quality time.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
So everyone has their different love language that they would expect from their partner.
Okay.
What's yours?
Well, hold on a second. But let's go back to yours, because you
Okay.
said that you're crying.
So
what would you have expect me to do?
Quality. I love quality time.
So quality time. What does quality time look like for you?
Quality time looks like maybe watching a movie, being present.
Oh. So you mean not being on my phone?
Yeah.
On the computer, or just zoning out?
Exactly.
Hold on. So, okay, let's say now we're laying on the couch, or you're laying on the couch, and we're watching a movie. What particular movie would you like? Because, I like my action and horror movies.
So this so I could pick a movie for once.
Okay, you get to pick one movie. Okay, so how often would this work? Like, how often would you want
once
this?
a week or something?
So it'd be like
something simple, like
a couple's night. Not a couple's night,
or
but
like we go to the park, all 3 of us.
That's a family thing, but
That's quality time.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
Or we all go to a museum together, or like just something we do together.
Fair enough. I could handle that.
I like that kind of stuff.
Okay. You're okay. Cool. Or we can go swimming together. Hey.
Okay. I love it.
Okay.
I love it. It doesn't have to be expensive.
No, it doesn't have to have any
Of
monetary value to it.
Of course, someone loves gifts, but that is not.
Yeah, you love gifts. I know.
But
yeah,
it's not the end all be all.
Of course, but it would be great to have, right?
Who doesn't love gifts?
I you know what? I'm not one to expect it. Only reason I'm not too crazy about Christmas and all that stuff is because I remember my mom working her behind off to get us gifts, and she would be at work all the time, barely home. So it's like, is it worth it? So that's why I never got to learn the quality time that you're talking about, because I've never really experienced it. So remember, I didn't grow up with a dad. I didn't have a dad who's like take me like right now with Aiden. I take Aiden to the park. I spend time with. I had never experienced that. I hold Aiden's hand. I carry him. I hug him. I kiss him. I do all these. I've never experienced that with my dad. Or with a dad. So these things are different to me.
With your mom, though.
Mom, of course, you're gonna get the love and hug and kisses, but not the quality time.
Because she had to work.
She was constantly working.
Okay. So,
and she worked odd hours.
Yes, I know. She
would work either 7 to 4 or 11 to 7 or 7 to 11. So so it's rare that we got to see her. And when we did see her, it was some good times. We laughed a lot. Those things. But it was never in a sense that let's go out to take a walk, Mom, to the park.
Yeah.
Let's go throw the ball.
See, I like that kind of stuff.
We never did that.
So my weekends were filled with that. So it was like at least going to the park.
Yeah.
We did. My mom made sure she did like the shows on. We went to this place in Westbury.
Oh, the Westbury, what you call it, theater, right? Is it called
something like
in Long Island? It's all Westbury, yeah. They have live art. They have musicians.
We did a lot of shows. We did a lot of museums. So that's why on the weekends I'm just like, hey, are we gonna do anything? And
see, I didn't go
and then
over
sometimes
that.
I feel like I'm pulling teeth. Dude, let's go. Hey, come on. And you're like, no, I got I gotta do this, and I'm like,
because that's what my weekend was spent. My weekends were spent cleaning the house. My weekends were spent doing laundry with my mom. It's like Saturdays, Sundays. That's what you did. If you wanted to go outside, you had to earn it.
Got it.
So you understand why I'm like, this is what I grew up doing. This is what it's like embedded in me. These habits. So I can't feel comfortable leaving my home unattended to go out and hang out. Because then who's going to address it? I want to make sure that the home is taken care of and things like that. But not to say that, I could work it on my schedule. We could work collectively on how to make that happen where we could spend more quality time together. We could do that.
Because, like, having so many people pass away and not...
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no matter how much you... I'm not saying that not to do that. But maybe, like you say, like, we'll do it the first 2 hours of the day and then at least make sure that we could... Or we could do the cleaning first and then make sure we do something.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we could discuss the things that we could do to make things easier. And I think a lot of it comes with getting Aiden involved as well. And teach him things on how to be responsible. So it has to start now. So what's the other one?
So those are my two. So what are yours?
Mine. Let's see. What's the good one? Oh, I'm the physical. I'm into the physical touch.
So then, I knew you were going to pick that one.
Why would you know that I wouldn't pick that one?
Because you complain about that I don't get enough physical touch.
Yeah, because you misconstrued physical touch to you want to do something.
No, it's not that. So let me go back. So
really?
So let's go back to how I was raised. I wasn't raised with any physical touch.
So no hugs and kisses all the time. No cuddling. Come here, my baby. Come here. No. Okay.
No, none of that.
See, my mom did all that.
So no cuddling, kisses, no really saying I love you, none of that.
Oh, really? You never had to say I love you? Oh, my mom would say five times a day.
I know they did it, but they weren't like, both of them were not physical touch people.
Wow. My mom all the time could not. It was like, all right, it's enough, Mom. Sometimes you had to like push her off. And it's not like where she did it up to a certain age. It was even into our 30s. She was still, in fact, she still does it to this day.
Yeah, so that's great.
She expects her hugs and kisses every time. You walk through that door, she better get a hug and a kiss. It's cup. You can't walk away from her without having that. And that's something I'm accustomed to. And that's, for me, physical connection works for me. Definitely the hugs, the cuddles. That's what Aiden, I mean, right now, he wants that connection. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you sleep with him, he's like all on top of you. Now he got this thing where he stretches your arm out and he's got to put his head right under your armpit. You're like, your arm goes dead. You wake up, you're like trying to get some circulation going. But he needs connection. He needs to be held. He needs to be hugged all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, definitely kissed. He loved the kiss on the cheek and the head. But he won't do it. He won't kiss you.
He'll hug you, but
he'll hug. Oh my God, he hugs you every time he gets a chance. He'll tackle you. So so the love language is interesting. Now, what's another one? For me, I think I got more than one.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I know yours.
Really, you sure?
I think you like words of affirmation and physical touch.
Yes, words of affirmation. I remember I said that to you. I said, men like words of encouragement. And you said, no, that's an ego stroke. I'm like, that's what that is called?
For a woman, it's just like it's
an added thing to your do list, right? It's so much to do.
No. It's just like a woman don't need that as much. So for us, it's like, okay.
Hold on. A woman does not want to be acknowledged?
Well, words of affirmation, isn't that like compliments?
Yes.
I love you.
Oh, yeah, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
You look great. You have a great smile. I love your eyes. You make me feel great. I love being around you. Yeah, exactly. You can't even stop smiling hearing these words. So yes. Yes, men here love to hear that too. As opposed to, can you throw out the garbage? Hey, could you pick up some milk? Oh, while you're out there, can you get some bread? You know what? Can you take Aiden out to the store?
Bread.
Yeah, exactly. 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 You can't do anything right. Oh, if you want something done right, you gotta send a woman. Like, really? Really? So yes, you get it.
I get it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we're acknowledging certain things that we didn't have before. And it's interesting that people are posting these things. And we're like, oh, so that's what that means.
I said that's where the conflict lies, that we're not giving each other what we want in terms of the love that we expecting.
I think so. I think because of our situation, it created such a strain that we became focused on that. Because I remember when we talked, when it came to dealing with Aiden, that we said our whole focus will be on him and getting well.
Yeah, because...
And I did tell you that. Yeah. And I said, you do understand what we're saying here, that we are no longer going to be working on each other, that everything will be focused on Aiden. So whatever comes with it, comes with it.
Yeah.
So these things that we're visiting, we had to acknowledge and say, we did this. We put ourselves in this situation. Because how many times, like we said in the last episode, I think it was the 2 episodes where we were on the verge of breaking up. We knew it. But the thing is, we created that situation by focusing on just getting him better and not us. Not realizing that once we got us together, we can get him much better.
It should have been the opposite.
Yes, it should have been the opposite, I would say. But hey, I'm just here for the ride. I'll go wherever you want me to go. We'll take it from there. And wherever we end up, we end up. If that's what we want. Is it still the same right now? Is it still the same case right now? That is Aiden's still the focus? Yes, you can't let go. The fact that you hesitated?
No, I'm just thinking.
Still hesitation.
But
okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's just like weighing it, because if he's in a bad state, it's really hard for us to focus on us, and vice versa. So I don't think the sole focus should be him anymore, though.
You're saying that, but is that what's going to happen? Because
Yeah.
remember, autopilot has been completely about him to the point of exhaustion. So by 8, 9 o'clock, you're ready to cash it in. You're like, I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything but going to bed right now. It's almost like the time when you gave birth to him and you were nursing him for 2 years. Where at 8, 9 o'clock, you were done. So those quality times that you're asking for, you can't expect it all to happen on the weekends. Because when you're neglected throughout the week, there's like, okay, there you are. Really? I've been banished for 5 days. Now I get what? I got 2 weekend pass? I'm on furlough?
It's a lot to work on.
Of course, but that's part of marriage, part of relationships, and just part of trying to connect. Because remember, when you leave those gaps open, that space, it allows other things to come in. It just allows other opportunities to come in. Because then I'm going to find things to distract my time. Because obviously, if it's not being attended to, I'll do something else. I'll keep myself entertained. I'll just get myself involved in something else. And that's where it happens. It's like now you're not getting the attention you want. When you say I want you to be present, but I'm present 5 days a week, but you're not here because you want to go to bed or you want to do your own thing, or you're so focused on Aiden that you're like nothing else matters.
I don't think it's just Aiden. I think it's one. My work.
Okay.
I have sometimes I have to do work at night for my job, so that comes to it, and my health. Like I don't always feel well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you look at how you're thinking may be affecting your health. A lot of times I say that, I'm like, I tell you, it's like, stop thinking the way you think, because I think it's rolling over into how you feel about yourself. Because the more you believe what you're thinking, the more likely it's going to happen. Because there's times I hear you say, I think I'm not healthy. I don't think I'm healthy. And it's like, stop saying that, because you keep making it repetitive. After a while, I'm like, now you're at the point where I don't think I'm healthy. It's like, now you believe it. Before it was just a thought. Now it's a belief. And you've been to the doctor a couple of times and they said, nope, you look fine. Right? They tell you you're fine, correct?
Supposedly.
Oh, my God. But if you weren't fine, you wouldn't be able to go to the gym, work out, go exercise, walk up and down the block, and up and down the stairs. I mean, we do live on a 4-floor walk up, and you make it with no problem, correct?
I do.
Okay, so that being said, so your love, what is that, love language? Mm-hmm. Interesting. So that's something we're going to work on?
I think so. I think it's a good idea for us to work on this.
Really? What's the benefit of it?
Well, I think it's better for us to feel...
I mean, it's been 10, 15 years, so, I mean, that's a long time to now recognize and say, okay, now we're going to put
I don't think so. I think when you're with someone, it's going to be... You change. It's going to be different things happen. Things go on. Your relationship is not stagnant. And then you're going to have to keep working on it. It's not like, okay, we worked on it the 5th year and then we're done. No, you're going to keep working on it on the 15th year, 16th year. It's not something that you can say you should have done it 5 years ago. No, it's continuous.
Okay. It's all we're going to is work.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't realize it.
I hear that too. They say it's work. I'm like, what's the work? I never understood what the work is. Now I do.
This is the work part.
Because you work on yourself, you work on the relationship, and you work with your partner. It might be, even though we're on 2 different pages. Do you think we can do it? To be honest,
I do think we can do it because we have been through so much.
Okay.
More than most couples that have not made it.
Okay.
And been through less.
Okay. Do you think we could last?
I think so.
You think so? What would be a deal breaker? I've always wondered that. What would be your deal breaker? Be like, you know what? That's it. This is over. I don't want to deal with this relationship. I'm done. What would be the deal?
Lying.
Lying? Okay, lying. Like what kind of lying?
Like,
because I could lie about a lot of things. I'll be like, yeah.
Starting another family.
Woo!
That is a breaker to me.
That's a breaker for me financially. I don't know how you guys out there who can do it, man. Bless your heart, because you know me, I'm cheap. Like what? Another family, please.
Yeah, that's a definite deal breaking for me. Like being dishonest continuously.
Being dishonest. Okay.
That's like I need trust.
Okay,
like,
that's good.
I need trust. Like I
Okay.
can't.
But when you say dishonest, like what level of dishonest?
I think all levels. Like you should, if I say, where are you? And you say, I'm in Mississippi and you're in New Jersey, that's being dishonest.
Yeah, well, yes. That's downright dangerous, really.
It's a level of trust that I have to have.
Okay, you got to have a level of comfort and trust. Okay.
Yeah, I have to. If it's not there, there's no point.
There's no point.
I think that's a huge deal breaker for me. I think that's huge. I mean, I guess you gotta see. Like, it's hard to say what's a deal breaker until you're in it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so
what could you emotionally recover from?
Exactly.
Psychologically,
and
emotionally.
also, I do think it depends on your age, what you're going through, what happens in the past. It's very situational. I think it's very hard to answer that question because there's so many women or men who stay in relationships and you're like, damn, that was bad. And they're still there.
Yeah, like,
but
why?
I bet if you asked them 10 years from now, if this happened, would you stay? A lot of them probably would have said no.
Yeah.
But I think it depends. It's contingent on the situation.
Okay. Now, having the situation that we're in, you ever thought about leaving?
I have, because it gets very stressful.
Yeah.
It gets very, very, very stressful. And like you said, certain things I want my way.
Yeah.
And, we think very differently. So, yeah, I think it's extremely stressful. And I don't know if it's only because of Aiden. I think it's a lot of marital problems that come into play, like just being raised differently.
Yeah.
And little nuances of it that become stressful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've thought about it, too. I thought about leaving, but the thought of me leaving was not leaving you with him. I was thinking about taking him and leaving you and giving you the space that you seem like you needed. You seem like you just wanted a peace of mind. You wanted to have a life that you wanted for yourself. And I felt that Aiden and I are interfering with that.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
No, but again, but you can't change what I'm saying or what I'm thinking. But that's what I sense.
I know, exactly.
Based on what I'm seeing. So remember, we create these things because you thought things that I was thinking, and it wasn't the case.
It's just life in general. It's not that it's because you and Aiden did things purposely.
Yeah. But I saw that you weren't happy. That's why.
Okay. I'm not happy because in general, I've never been like a bubbly, happy person baseline.
Oh,
just
great.
And I take in things and I personalize everything deeply.
Yeah.
So if I hear so and so died or this person, I'm taking it in and I get very sad for that person.
Yeah.
So there's so many things going on.
Yeah.
And I see, like I've said to you before, I see a lot of sad things, and for me, I can't just be like, oh, that's them.
Yeah, I know.
So
I understand. I think we definitely need to cover this again in our next episode because there is so much that goes into it. But before I go, I want to say rest in peace, Tommy Allen, our DJ who recently passed away, who did our wedding, a fan favorite of mine. Also, Sandra Wilson, who was a classmate of mine in high school as well. You know, my mother's next door neighbor, she was recently murdered at her job as security guard, which made news. So some sad situations in the past couple of weeks that we had to deal with. So for everybody out there listening, hold your family close, hold your loved ones, appreciate the time that you have with them and with each other, hugs and kisses and all. That's all I can say. Just keep everybody close, okay?
Yes. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Definitely. Thanks for tuning in. Look to hear you all. Listen to our next episode. Take care.
Ciao.
Thanks for tuning in another episode of
Love and Cannabis.
I'm Osiris Stephenand.
And I'm Nina Simmons.
Be strong.
And stay empowered.